Moving on to the AL Central. This division's a little more straightforward. It's a little weaker this year. Kind of has been the last couple of years. And one team for a long time in this division was getting away with it. The Cleveland Indians had gotten away with winning week division after week division after week division. And last year changed that. The Twins came in, and I think they won the title. They won the division title. I think everyone was rooting for them, honestly. Because they were tired of seeing the Indians, it seemed, just gifted a division year in, year out. How will this year go? Let's find out. So in fifth place, I have the Detroit Tigers going 15-45. That will probably be the worst record projection you'll see from me. Their manager is Ron Gardenhire. And this team they just don't really have anything going for them. Some bright spots they do have. C.J. Cron comes in from free agency. He'll be a power bat. He'll do a little bit of something. Miguel Cabrera is the constant of this team. Obviously, he's been there forever now. You have some other guys. Nico Goodrum at shortstop. Jonathan Scope comes in from free agency. He'll look to put a little bit of power on the board. Kristen Stewart in the outfield, among other youngins. Some prospects they have. Riley Green in the outfield. You have Isaac Paredes. I can't pronounce any names on here. At third base, and you have Daz Cameron in the outfield. Those guys should look to either be ready to go this year, if not next year. And then for starters, you're basically just still waiting for the prospects to be ready. You have Matt Boyd, who will get some starts. Spencer Turnbull. Ivan Nova comes in from the Sox. You have Tyler Alexander there, a young guy. Michael Fulmer, another young guy. Daniel Norris should get some looks too, but he has coronavirus right now. Some more prospects they have. Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Tariq Skubal. Don't be surprised to hear those names at all this year. Not sure who's ready to go there, but expect to see them in the next coming years. The good thing, I guess, about this team is they didn't really lose anybody, although they didn't really have anybody to lose in the first place. The bullpen, Joe Jimenez. I need to look up these names before I do this and just put them pronunciations of them. He'll be good if he gets save opportunities. Some other young guns will have something to prove. You have Brian Garcia, who last year had a terrible start to his career. He had a 2.10 whip, which is walks plus hits over innings pitched. That's a terrible whip. Average whip is like 1.3. That's average. He had a 2.10. You have David McKay also, who will get some looks in relief. Joe Jimenez, as said before, is their main closer. You have Buck Farmer and Jose Cisnero, who will get some. They'll get some setup reliefs. Jose Cisnero hasn't been in the league in a while. This is his first time back. Hopefully, he'll get some good setup appearances this year. But overall, this team is just, they don't have anything going for them, really. They have a lot of pieces they brought in from the offseason. Sure, they'll add something, but for what exactly? This team is basically just waiting for prospects to come in. They hit the reset button a little while ago. Nothing's come of it. I feel bad for them because they were at one point an exciting team to watch, a World Series team, and that's just frankly not the case anymore. It won't be for a little while. Once again, 15-45 for the Detroit Tigers. In fourth place, I have the Kansas City Royals. I have them going 20-40. Their manager is Mike Matheny, replacing longtime manager Ned Yost of that World Series winning team. They have some big names, which will definitely steal some games, but they'll still be in rebuild mode for the most part. As for their lineup, Whit Merrifield is the guy who they'll be looking toward. I feel bad for him. He's been stuck on this team for years, just wasting good stats, all-star appearances at the Royals. You've also got Jorge Soler, who's DHing, Salvador Perez, longtime catcher, Hunter Dozier, longtime third baseman, Alberto Mondesi at their shortstop position. You also have Alex Gordon, longtime big-armed outfielder. They didn't really lose anybody in free agency. Once again, they didn't really have anyone to lose. Bobby Witt Jr. is a name to look out for, though, coming up in their prospect system. He's a shortstop. As for their starters, some older guys who are just sort of filling in innings for their upcoming prospects. You have Mike Montgomery, who put in a lot of innings. Danny Duffy. Brad Keller's a young guy they'll look toward. He has coronavirus, though, at the beginning of the year, so you won't see him for a little bit. Jake Junis will look to bounce back from last year. And Brady Singer is a name to look out for. He'll get some starts this year. He posted a 2.8 ERA in the minors. He's 23. Look to see him. Prospects, you have Daniel Lynch. He's 23 as well. And then Jackson Kowar. You should see Daniel Lynch get some appearances this year, possibly in relief, maybe as a starter. He posted a 2.5 ERA last year in the minors. And then the bullpen, it's just more people basically taking innings, waiting for the prospect to come up. Kevin McCarthy will get some innings. Jesse Hahn, who had a terrible year last year, hopefully looking to bounce back from that. Trevor Rosenthal, also a terrible year last year, looking to bounce back from that. Both those guys had over 2.4 on the whip meter. I think that's one of the more valuable stats for a reliever, and they just were terrible in that regard. Closers / setup guys, you have Ian Kennedy, Scott Barlow, and Greg Holland. I think Ian Kennedy is the guy to look for there. Once again, they have some big names, which will steal some games for sure in the lineup, but overall, this team isn't really anything to get excited for. Once again, I have them going 20-40 in the AL Central. Next up, a team who sort of jumped on the scene this offseason, that being the Chicago White Sox. I have them going 33-27, and I think they're in a very similar situation to the Philadelphia Phillies were last year, where everyone got a little too excited for what they could do. And I guess ever since that Phillies team, I've really become skeptical of what teams could be. I've really pumped the brakes in terms of getting excited over teams with new additions before guys have really proven themselves, like proven that they can gel together. Their manager is Rick Rentiera. Once again, man, I need to just pronounce the names right. I'll try to get better at that in the future. Anyway, team made splashes for sure in the offseason. I still don't think they quite have the pitching prowess to get over those big bats of Minnesota or Cleveland. The lineup, though, 2 words describe this lineup: flash and fun. You've got Yasmani Grandal, who's going to smack a bunch of home runs. Jose Abreu will do the same. Tim Anderson is a young guy, exciting to watch. You also have Nicky Delmonico in the outfield. Edwin Encarnacion, a DH. He'll smack a lot of home runs. You have the young star Yoan Moncada at third base. He'll be out for a little bit for coronavirus this year. You have Eloy Jimenez in the outfield. Luis Robert in the outfield. They didn't really lose anyone on the lineup at all. Their starters, some solid guys are in the rotation. They added some free agents. They added Dallas Keuchel, who comes in. Gio Gonzalez, who also comes in. They'll look to put up some solid numbers this year. Other guys, you have Lucas Giolito. Expect to see some innings out of him. Ronaldo Lopez will get a lot of looks, as well as Dylan Cease will get some looks. These guys are a little younger. They still got to prove themselves a little bit. Mainly the latter two, Ronaldo and Dylan. They did lose Ivan Nova to the aforementioned Tigers, I believe. Sorry, I can't remember who Ivan Nova went to. Sorry. If I remember him, I remember. It's fine. So the bullpen is my main concern. They have some decent guys, but it's really nothing special. You have Carlos Rodon, Chase Fry, and Evan Marshall will get some relief innings looks. As for closers, they do bring in Steve Shizek. They also have Aaron Bummer, who will look to get a decent amount of looks at the setup position. You have Alex Colomb, who he'll look to get a decent amount of the closes this year. So overall, I do think that the bullpen is the main thing that's holding them back, as well as some unproven pitching on the back end of their rotation, especially with those big bats in Cleveland and Minnesota. I just think that it's going to be a little bit too much. They'll definitely put up their runs as well. And that's sort of the theme with this division. Put up a lot of runs, and it should get you some wins. So overall, I have them going 33-27. Next up, second place, Cleveland Indians. I have them going 36-24. Their manager's longtime manager Terry Francona. They have a great team. No doubt about that. They've had a great team. They're a lot like the Cubs, I feel like, where you know exactly what you're going to get out of them. But I think that the Twins are just a team that's on the rise who will just get a little bit more out of their guys this year, frankly. Their lineup, great as always. You have Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez. Those two guys could get MVPs in any given season. You have Carlos Santana at first, Cesar Hernandez. They brought in Domingo Santana, who will be a solid addition. They did lose Jason Kipnis to the Cubs this offseason, but he was sort of meddling anyway. Starters, they're elite. Their top three are really good. You have Shane Bieber, young guy. He'll look to build on solid seasons he's just had. Mike Clevenger is a guy who's in his prime right now, posted under a 3 ERA last year. Carlos Carrasco, you'll look for him to bounce back. He had sort of a down year last year, but overall was solid. Aaron Savale. Man, I need to look up these pronunciations. I know I keep going back to it. I'm sorry, but it bothers me. He'll look to have another good year this year. Zach Plesac will look to put in some good innings for them. They did lose Corey Kluber to the Texans, or to the Rangers rather, in a trade last year, but they did get some decent pieces back for him. So they probably won't be missing him too much with how stacked this rotation is. In the bullpen, Brad Hand is the main guy here, along with some other good pieces. You have old guy Oliver Perez, who will get some relief looks. Adam Plutko, and Adam Simber, who also gets some relief inning looks. Closer, obviously, Brad Hand is the guy to look for. Some setup guys you'll see is Nick Whitgreen, and the young gun James Karinchak, who had a really good whip at 0.75 last year. He'll look to really take the next step this year, sort of prove himself as the go-to setup man / possibly closer in the future whenever Brad Hand is out as the closer. So overall, I think, once again, this is a great team. They have really good bats, really good pitching. Bullpen is good. But I just don't think they quite have the power, that home run hitting talent that the Twins do. So once again, second place for the Cleveland Indians. I have them going 36-24. And in first place in the AL Central, I have the Minnesota Twins. I have them going 37-23, giving them one game up on the aforementioned Cleveland Indians. Their manager is Rocco Baldelli. They have crazy power in the lineup, and the pitching to keep up with it. You've got one of the best home run hitting lineups in the league. These guys will make a lot of noise. You'll see them on a lot of highlight reels if the MLB ever decides to post anything. You have Nelson Cruz, big DH, big bat. Josh Donaldson comes in. He smacked 30 home runs last year with the Braves, and sort of a resurgence for him. You have Jorge Polanco, Max Kepler, Eddie Rosario, Miguel Sano, Byron Buxton. Really just a lineup of home run hitters. You can expect to see lots of home runs from them every single game. Them and the Yankees are really going to blast them out of the park. They did lose C.J. Cron and Jason Castro in free agency, but I think once again they have the bats to keep up with that loss. As for the starters, they have a lot of experience and a lot of talent. They bring in Kenta Maeda from the Dodgers. You get Jake Odorizzi back, although I believe he is hurt right now. He will be back at some point this year. Jose Barrios is a young guy they'll look toward. Rich Hill, old man at 40 years old, still posting a 2.45 ERA last year. That man is insane. He'll probably post a 3.5 or something this year. That dude is honestly insane. You have Homer Bailey, who comes in from the Astros. He'll look to sort of revive his career here. You have Michael Pineda, who will come back at a little over the halfway season mark. He is positive for PEDs this last year. They did lose Kyle Gibson and Martin Perez, but I think that rotation is still outstanding enough that it will get them through the games that they need. You don't really have a Cy Young winning guy on this team, but everyone is in sort of the above average to all-star range on this team. Any given these guys could be on an all-star team if they really pitch the lights out. In the bullpen, you have some great depth. You've got Tyler Duffy, Tyler Clipper, Devin Smeltzer. Those guys will make a lot of relief appearances. Their setup game is amazing. They have some really good setup guys. Taylor Rogers will be their closer most likely. He'll put in some good work there. Sergio Romo, an old guy. And then Trevor May. Most of you probably know him from Twitch at this point. Popular Twitch streamer. He is actually, surprisingly, believe it or not, a really good baseball player as well. He's really good in setup. He'll look to improve on a solid season that he had the past however many years. He's been solid for them. And they didn't lose anyone in the bullpen really either. So once again, this team is solid. They didn't really lose much in free agency at all. And they added on more power to the team without giving up too much. So I think that they are the most complete team in this division. Obviously, I have them going 37-23 once again, winning the division. Just to recap, I have the Detroit Tigers in 5th place, going 15-45. I have the Kansas City Royals going 19-41, or excuse me, 20-40. Sorry, I had that written wrong in my notes. The Chicago White Sox going 33-27. I have the Cleveland Indians going 36-24. And finally, in 1st place, I have the Minnesota Twins winning the division title, going 37-23.